What inspired you to start writing?
I was always good at writing, though. Even that was one of my best subjects.
So, would you consider writing for you an inherent gift?
I think so.
How would you encourage a viewer or an audience member who feels like they have an inherent gift to write, but they're afraid?
If you study any great person, I look at a whole bunch of interviews of just great people, and even boxers say every time they get in the ring they're nervous, and that's good. So I think that's just normal. It's just normal with anything to be nervous, but a part of I think great people use that fear to fuel them, and they know how to get over. You know how to get over fear, because you got to realize if you're great, let's say from 0 to 10, greatness is 10. When you're on level 1, when you get to level 2, it's a new fear. You get to level 3, so I think great people just used to that new space of fear. So anytime you're gonna get higher and higher, it's always gonna be fear, even if you flying a plane.
Okay, your new book titled True Blue.
True Blue.
It, to me, denotes authenticity of self. How did you arrive to the title, and how did you delve into a place personally to be able to write a book like True Blue?
Well, True Blue is a collection of essays and quotes. So it's about probably 4 years worth of writing and quotes. So I had a quote page, and I still have it, and I kind of built a community around my quotes. And a lot of times people, they would comment and they would ask me, about the quote, tell me, explain this, explain that. And everybody have a different understanding of every quote. Like, it means something different to everybody if they share it. 100 people may share it, but people sharing it for different reasons. And a lot of times I make my quotes where it can mean different things for whatever situation the person's in. So with this book, I basically had a couple quotes and a couple debates, and I gave my opinion. I gave my opinion on the question, and I gave dialogue of what I mean by a certain quote. So True Blue, I had a couple titles for the book. So at first I wanted to do something deep, but we living in a new generation. So, I didn't want to really run people off with a really, really deep title. So the first title I had was A Road to Contentment. And what I meant by road to contentment is, it's kind of like a never-ending road, a life. So in life we on a journey. Our journey is the road. So we have no destination. Every stop where you're happy, that's your stop. So if you're happy in this city right now, that's where you stop at. That's where your destination is. Once you're tired of this city, you move on. Career or whatever. So everybody's road is different. Somebody might stop in this city and stay for 90 years. Somebody may move every year. So that was the first thing, but it was like, I don't feel like explaining that title. I don't feel like explaining that title what I mean. My second title was Under an Atom. And what I meant by that is under the facts. Under what we know. Like, just like it could be blue. Blue is just like a statement of the scripture. What's under the fact of blue? I still kind of kept that in my book. What I did, Under an Atom, then I did Under Love, Under Pain, and Under Success. So it's like, this is love. This is what we see is love. But what's under the fact? Love is all these things. Love is pain. Love is happiness, marriage. Love is many things. It's not just a sentence. Pain also. Pain, pain can be bad. Pain can be in sickness, but pain can also be in growth. Like how we was talking about earlier about getting to the next level. It's a pain that comes with that, just like exercising. It's a pain that comes with every level of growth. And those people who exercise for a long time, when they feel pain, they feel accomplished. So everything is perspective, even pain is how we look at things. So what I'm doing in this book is I'm giving people a different perspective of everything because everything exists in perspective. Another example I give all the time is about rain. So everything in life has a negative and a positive. That's what I want everybody to realize. And a lot of times people just dwell on like negative things happening in their lives, like why this happening to me, why is this? But everything has a negative, positive, even people. We can't expect for the whole world to be just one way. It's not. That's nothing. Even water. You have we drink water so many times a day. We brush our teeth, we take baths, we do a lot with water, but at the same time, water can be deadly also. You look at hurricanes, you look at water can corrode anything. You look at fire. If I told you in one sentence, what's fire? Fire is the thing that burns. I can't be right. What's under the fact? Under the fact is fire warms us in the winter. Fire cooks our food. Fire does a lot of things. So that's what I mean by this book, by perspective. It's just changing your perspective of things so you can stop worrying about things, so you can live in contentment. That's why I was going to name it A Road to Contentment. And I think what's going to allow us to be content is not fighting life. Just understand that life has negative and positive. So I'm going to give you one more example. Rain. Now, right now, if you had a wedding, if it was your wedding day and it rained, you'd probably be crying. You had an outdoor wedding. Oh, I messed up my big day. Somebody else in another country that hardly rains, they'll look up in the sky and say, "Thank you, God." One thing that helped me appreciate the rain was when I looked at a different one. I started a garden. So every time it rained, I was like, "Oh man, I don't have to water the garden today." So it's all about perspective. And I think great teachers, just like they tell successful people, once you experience the height of success, you have to do something different, like jumping out of a plane or something like that. You got to kind of experience death to appreciate life. I think a great teacher would tell somebody, if you came to a person like, "I hate the rain, plant a garden." You know how sometimes people don't appreciate maybe life and then they have kids. It's just all about perspective. And I think the only way we can get to happiness is understanding ourselves. And hopefully with life, we start to understand ourselves more. Hopefully. That's why they always say older people are at peace, because they understand everything. Not that they're so smart, it's just life is a circle. They've seen it so many times. Now they understand it. But I think with being young, so many things are new to us. And that's cool. It's cool to be ignorant. I was just thinking about, I seen one girl, she was in maybe Germany. What's the place where they have the spring water?
Oh.
Iceland. So she was in Iceland. And she went in the convenience store and asked for a bottle of water, and they started laughing at her. It's like, you just go in the river and get water. You can drink water out the stream here. But it's so funny how we talk about ignorance. Ignorance just not knowing. Just being in the space is cool. It's cool to be ignorant. And she was just ignorant to that. And but that goes to show you that we can never know the whole world because we're in one space at a time. We don't know what's going over here, what's going over there. So we are all always going to be cherish one thing and pray for another. And we always pray for the things that we don't have. But since we're only in one spot in the world, we're always not going to have something. Yeah.
Good answer. The beginning of your book, you were discussing bringing up ignorance and fear, and like the dynamic of introducing fear to like a newborn who isn't born with inherent fear. We're born with faith or just belief. First question, what brought you to a place personally where you made the decision that other people's fear is not yours? And what brought you to that place? And then secondly, is it something, for example, choosing to not fear? Because as you grow older, life does become scarier and experiences make you draw back. So as you become older and you choose to not fear, is it that's how you live your life, or is it a decision every day, just like the pain that you lean into more as you realize like, okay, this is a part of life? Is fear no longer a hindrance, or is just fear, is it a constant decision, or is it a one-time decision to not fear?
No, fear is constant because we're always going to be in a new space, especially with growth. If we're going to keep growing, we're always going to have fear. But I think being able to live with fear and overcome it comes with having a good pillow. And what I mean pillow is a good team or a good family behind you. Because you can do a lot of things knowing that even if you fail, you got somebody to pick you up. Like, it's kind of like being in a swimming pool. Like right now, I can go hop in the swimming pool at night with no lifeguard or nothing. I'll be kind of like, I don't know about it. But it's different if you're at a swimming pool and it's 10 lifeguards. Because you're like, okay, somebody ain't gonna save me. And I think like those great people, they might have had fear and thought somebody was gonna save them, but end up jumping in the pool and realizing, oh, I got this, I can swim. And I think some people are just have God-given gifts that they can't even explain. It's not that they knew they would do it, because if someone jumped in the pool for the first time, it's a 30-foot pool, and it's 10 people, 9 drowned. That one person probably had the same fear that everybody else had, but they had a God-given skill. And I do want to talk about God-given skills. I talk about in the book about God-given skills, right? And it's a lot of people, a lot of great people. If you look at the great people in this world, we come from the basketball players like LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Man, you got so many. I want to talk about Miles Davis, Muhammad Ali. It's a lot of people who just have God-given talents. And I think we kind of dismiss God-given talents a lot. You know, we think you have to go to a school and somebody have to teach you how to do a certain thing. But see, we got to realize this. I can create something right now, a new talent, and I'm the first person to do it. It was God-given to me. Once I'm successful about it, somebody will write a textbook on what I did and teach it to other people and say, you have to come to this school to learn it the right way. But you got to realize everything that we know, it was given to one individual. So right now, the first person who probably built a car, and I don't even want to go that far. The person that built a pyramid, that person had a God-given talent. And like right now, if you do, oh, right now, if you do something that they did 1,000 years ago, we'll think nothing of it. But every generation had those inventors that, was just a great inventor of their time. But then time changed. But I believe that we all have God-given talents. We have a lot of talents. It's just some people visit their talents more. It's so easy for us to lose time trying to survive. And I think those great people.
Ooh, hold on.
What?
Say that one more time.
We waste a lot of time trying to survive. And that's one thing I realized by preparing for this book. Because I spent 30 days on the marketing plan. Just getting everything together, get my marketing plan together. And I had so much time in 30 days. And I realized that most people only have 1 or 2 days free. So what I done in 30 days, it may take the next person 6 months. In those 6 months, we don't realize how much time. We always say we don't have enough time. We do. We just give our time away. And everything is time. I was just talking to someone yesterday about time. I said I'm not the type of person that look at people and say they're better than me as an individual, because I think we all have God-given talents, but some people may have more time. Everything is time. Someone may have 1,000-person team, right? And you're just you. They have more time than you. They have 1,000 people giving 40 hours. Only thing separates them is time from you. Someone might be driving in a car. Everything's handmade leather, everything. You may be driving in a car that's been made, everything factory, sewing machines and everything. That car looks better because it's more time invested in that. Everything is time. All we do is buy time. That's it. Even if you're talking about food, if it take a plant a month to grow, you bought time. That's it. And once we realize that, we realize a lot. We stop valuing our time. Mm-hmm. And everything is also love. This world is love. I got a quote that says, everything is free. God gave us everything free, but we choose to buy it from man. And the price, God don't want money for everything that's put here. It just take love. Even if you had animals, if you had chickens and stuff, in order for you to get to a point where you can enjoy the eggs or the milk or whatever, if you drink milk, but in order for you to get to that point, you would have to give those animals love. In order for you to enjoy vegetables or fruit, you will have to give those plants love. And that's the payment. That's true wealth. Love. So, in my book, I just talk about it's just all things that make you think. It's definitely a life-changing book, because one thing about it, once you change the way you think, there's no going back. Just like I talk about the girl in Iceland who who went to the store for water, she'll never do it again. How can she do it again? It's some things that we'll never do once we, gain knowledge of a thing. And one thing about knowledge, it can change our life.
That's really good. I have a question. It's a little lighter.
Mm-hmm.
When did you realize and start calling yourself the writer that was obviously a gift that was given to you before you, and you just had to unearth it? So what changed? What was the moment, and how old were you, and how long had you been writing when you decided I am a writer?
It would probably be a little after my first book. I don't even think I'd call myself a writer on my first book. It was just unintentional. I was always writing, but it was music. So my first book was a book of poems. So I had the poems first, but I had an idea, like I got all this, I have all these songs, but the content of the song was so deep, it was like poetry. So I say, okay, I'm not doing music anymore. I need to do something with all this because somebody need to see this. So I had the idea, okay, let me put this in the book. So once I put the poems in the book, I say, okay, how can I make this a book? Let me do an essay explaining what I meant. So my first book, it was just a thing that I did. But that just showed me what I can do. And I end up just keep writing and writing and writing. But I realized that I was always writing. I was just writing in sound bites. Like when we on social media, we writing statuses or tweets. And then I look back, even 10, 12 years ago, I'm saying some of the same things. So I really was always writing. So I actually was always writing since 14, but I just had to come. I didn't have the conscience that I was doing it. It was unintentional. And once I started getting intentional, it don't matter what you're doing. You have to be intentional about it. Once you start getting intentional, I think that's when you start becoming a professional. It's kind of like playing basketball. You can go out there and shoot around. But I think once you realize you're good, then you start being intentional about it. So once I start being intentional about it, I feel like I start going from good to great. And everything got effortless.
Wow.
Like I just do it. I don't even think about it. I could sit down and write 10 pages like it's nothing. And if you think about it, if you do 10 pages a day, in 10 days you got 100 pages.
That's good. One thing you just said, you said once you realize that you're good.
Mm-hmm.
So a barrier to this, and like you said, gifts are God-given, like the thing that you're designed to truly do. So you might not have background or surrounding for it. Let's say I'm someone in the audience, and like you were saying in the beginning of the book, about the ignorance and the fear, and I'm surrounded by ignorance and fear, and no one told me I'm good at it. But there's this God-given something.
Intuition.
But I don't have this intuition because the thing, like you said, you've been writing since you were a child. You wrote at 14 as you were trained, although you weren't because it was in you. And I know everyone's journey is different to finding what that gift is. But to someone who is out there and they're not surrounded by anyone or anything that would tell them that they have it, and they might feel like a failure because if you're not doing the thing you're designed to do, you are failing. You are failing. No matter how successful it seems, you don't have the peace and the effortless flow that comes with purpose. So what would you tell to that person who hasn't realized that they're good yet?
Well, I think first, when it comes to gifts, most of the time, I think most people, they use their gifts as hobbies. So a lot of times we consider it play. And the great people live in their hobbies, so it doesn't seem like work. So first, I say in the hobby stage, whatever you're doing as a hobby, do it until you're satisfied. You have to be your only judge in the beginning. Then you might let one person see it, then two person, three. Once you start gaining that confidence, that's when you're gonna achieve greatness. You got to be confident in the thing. Just like some of these basketball players now, they're shooting shots turning around because they know not because they're cocky, because they know they shot 1,000 shots in practice. So I think you have to have confidence in what you're doing. You can't have fear. It's kind of like how they say animals smell fear. Just imagine someone in the Olympics in the water, and the animals could smell the fear on them. Like you're not swimming with confidence. Like if a swimmer was in water and they weren't confident, you can see it. You'll see it in the waves and all. Versus like somebody just flowing through, turning around. But everything comes with confidence. Like think about if you was shooting a gun at someone some clothes. If you was nervous doing any, you would mess up. You would have to have certain confidence to do that straight. Your hands would shake shooting, or your hands would shake sewing. It's a certain confidence that you need to hit a certain mark, and I think those people are professional. They don't think about. They don't think about it. It's not that they don't think about it. I think that you do some things so much, it's kind of like driving home, right? And I know a lot of adults know this. You drive home, you don't even remember how you got home. Why? Because your intuition got you home. You do it so much. Or you may be sleepy driving. You don't know how you stayed on the road. I don't know. I don't even remember. Basketball players, they looking over here, dribbling this and that. It's because they did it so much. They did it so much. All this is in their subconscious. The subconscious never forget. And I think those great people, they live and they unlock that part of them, that subconscious. And not that they're not thinking about it. It's just they're not trying to think about it. Maybe they're living in their subconscious. It's just a thing. I always tell people, whatever you're doing, make it a lifestyle. Because if it's your lifestyle is doing something all day. So that's going to give you 24 hours. When you're doing something is a hobby, you're doing it for an hour. So when I say lifestyle, I mean, we talk about writing. I always tell people, I always kind of coach people on writing. It's like, I'm not in the mood to write. Every mood is a perfect mood to write because you're writing about that moment that you're in. However it is, good or bad. If you always wrote in a good mood, you wouldn't have a well-rounded story. So when I talk about writing being a lifestyle, is when I'm in conversation, if I'm talking on the phone, let me write this down. If I'm somewhere, I'm probably on the beach, I see something, let me write this down. I'm making this a lifestyle. Now, another person who do this as a hobby, they would be home and go in their library or whatever room and then write for that hour and then go. A person that's a real writer does this all day. If I'm a professional photographer, I'm taking pictures even when I'm not taking pictures. When I see the sunset, I say, "Oh, that's a good shot." When I see a couple, "Oh, that's a good shot." That's what I mean about lifestyle. And the only way you're going to be great is you make your God-given gift or your talent a lifestyle. It's something that you're doing all day.
Your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you want your readers to take away when they get to that last page of True Blue and close the book? Like, what do you want them to receive from it?
I want them to ask themselves a question. So I have a lot of questions and I got my perspective of it. But a lot of questions don't have to be answered. Because I can ask a question, it's an open question. I ask a lot of open questions as well. Because there's no right answer to every question. Everybody have a different answer. I may ask. So I want you to take every question, look at my perspective, but don't settle on my perspective. Whatever your perspective is, now we're having dialogue. Have dialogue with me. But I'm just not in the room. I'm on the page. I'm going to give you perspective and you take my perspective like we're having a conversation and give your perspective. So when I was editing this book, like I said, it took me 4 years to write this. So some things I didn't read in 4 years. So it's like I'm reading this again. And me reading the whole book, it was therapeutic for me. So another thing, I want it to be therapeutic. I don't care if you're happy, if you have to cry, any emotion is good because it's something. And I just want you, if anything, like I said, the road to contentment, find out what makes you content and stop questioning the world so much. Because at the end of the day, just think about this. We don't have dinosaurs no more, right? I mean, at some point in life, dinosaurs failed. But if we're still here, what that mean? Since we've been here, we never failed. So I don't care what happened, pandemic, whatever. At the end of the day, we're here. We survived. There's a lot of things happening in this world, but we're still here.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? Oh, man. Well, right now, it's about True Blue. It's about True Blue. It's about Banks Library Publishing. So, in a perfect world for me, I would just sit down and write all day. So what I want to do is, my goal is to build my publishing company up where I have other authors on my publishing company, and I help them be great. I give them marketing, editing, just everything that I done for myself. So my goal now is just make myself as big as possible. Just build my community, and I'll be able to give other authors my community. But it will be other authors that I think can stand beside me, other great writers. So I definitely want to change the game for writing like how it was in the 60s and the 70s where writers were at the forefront, but it's like entertainment changed so much. We have different shows, we have different things we're entertained about, and it's just like, if we had a TV slot, it's only room for so many, and it's kind of like they put the writers in the background. But I just want to bring that back because I just feel like we're missing that, and I feel like there's a lot of people missing that. People are still reading books. You still have bookstores open. It's people doing it alone now instead of enjoying it with the world. See, when it was popular, people could read their favorite book, like listen to their favorite CD and see their favorite writer like they see their favorite artist. So what I want to do is I want to bring that back. Make writers cool again. Well, I ain't gonna say cool again, but we always been cool, but to show the world we're still cool. How about that?
Like a writer renaissance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But one thing about life, like I talked about, everything is a circle. It's right now is winter. It's gonna be summer again. So, it's gonna be a point in time where people go run to get books again. It's just we're in this digital world right now, and it came to a point where people are throwing away the newspapers, throwing away the magazine, throwing away the book. But like when things happen, it just take for one person to think something is cool, and then it becomes cool again. Like just like yesterday, I was taking my god baby to buy some shoes, and it was so funny it was so funny to look at the shoes that's cool now. It's just different. If it's 5 years from now, you're looking at this, just go to Google and type in Dushawn Banks, and I'll pop up. All my links will pop up. But today, you can go to bankslibrary.com and you can purchase True Blue personally from me. Maybe if you're out the country or you're somewhere else, because I have a lot of readers out the country, you can go to Amazon.com and it will be to you. And if you want to follow me on social media, everything is Dushawn and Don, or just go to every social site and type in Dushawn Banks and I'll come up.